you look into the subconscious, and I've spent 20 years analysing that, what's actually there, it's literally stuck. It's like an operating system from the past. So it's going to have the patterns that you've picked up from your childhood, and it's going to have what you've got from history, what you've collected from the group consciousness, and none of it's had time to catch up. Here's the thing, because we've had like millennia of women being disempowered, being deprived of choice and opportunity, and told you have to obey the male figure in your life, you have to stay at home, you're not allowed to earn more money, blah blah blah. That's been there for millennia, right? And then suddenly things change over the course of just like 2 generations, and all of that other stuff hasn't caught up. So we are the women on the cusp. We have the opportunity, we have the freedom for like the first time in history, but we don't have the right operating system. So the more we understand that and consciously update those hidden levels, the more that's going to give the right operating system to future generations. So hopefully younger women just growing up are not going to have the challenges that we've had, because we've been living with this mismatch.
Hello everyone, I'm Suzanne Paul. I'm here again with Dr. Anne Whitehouse from Secret Sorceress. And today we are talking about staying in your power. We started this conversation on Tuesday, and I'm delighted that she's here again. It is for the last time for a little while. She will be back, but not for a few weeks. If you've got any questions, I suggest you put them in the comments, and Anne or I will respond to them after we finish today. As you know, we only talk for like 10 minutes. We are super intentional, super quick, and because I think it's boring watching lives for longer than like 15 minutes. So, Anne, hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Lovely to be back.
Great to see you. So, staying in our feminine power. Let's hear. Yes. Carry on. I'm just going to say that.
So, here's the thing. What came out of our conversation last time was that the conventional alternative wisdom is all about grounding yourself and working with those lower chakras, etc. Yeah. Whereas I said, when we're in one of these, engaging in a meeting or a conversation or confrontation, that it's actually important to do this power pulling and to pull it back, and it's the heart center that is important. And I was going to explain to you why that is the case, because of course it is important to ground yourself, and all of that is super important. But this is all about the level of power we start with. So if we were like this, so here's the person we're talking to, and here is us, and say this is our male colleague. And if it's like that, then absolutely, let's just stay grounded. But it's not like that, because as soon as we are in that scenario, all of that subconscious programming kicks in. Remember, the subconscious is not in the 21st century, it's way back. It's way back. So as soon as you are in a situation where you are with, how shall I put it, anything status quo, anything old school, anything out in the world, all of that energetically is still anchored in the past. So we go in there as a woman, and immediately we go like that. We go down.
Yeah.
Because in the hierarchy, the energetic hierarchy, we're down here and a male colleague is up there. We're not talking about their current belief system, what they might feel or do at a thing. This is all hidden. It's all under the surface. But our subconscious will perceive that we are lower down, and all of the that messaging then goes into place, which triggers the sort of fight or flight response we talked about before, which causes the anxiety or the lack of confidence, or the kind of stuff that lots of women struggle with, even if they are really, really competent. So all of that means we are down there. Now, if we then simply ground ourselves, we're grounded, but we're still not on a level, because we've got into this giving our power away unconscious mechanism, which is basically what all my years of research has flagged up. This is what undermines us. We don't know it's there. That's why we don't do anything about it. But when we do the power pulling, that unlocks the subconscious. It gets it out of that fight or flight. It begins to feel safer. It begins to feel, hang on a minute, this is actually 21st century. What are all these rules I'm looking at? It's all rubbish. And it will then bring your power back up. So we go back on a more or less level playing field. That's when all those feelings of the imposter syndrome, oh, I'm not good enough, I've got to be more than perfect to be equal to anybody else, all of that stuff evaporates when we subconsciously feel that on a level. But the trouble is, when we go into a situation, all of that hidden stuff triggers first and undermines us. So the two things are important. Of course, it's important to ground yourself, but that isn't going to compensate for this disparity that's in the subconscious that's undermining us. But when you use what I taught in the power pulling, the visualization of actually pulling, not just taking, but really pulling with effort, the resistance, that unlocks it, and that opens up this shift to bring us onto an energetic level playing field when we actually feel, yeah, I am the equal of everybody here. I do have a right to speak up. I do have a right to have an opinion. And if you interrupt me, I'm just going to take the ball back and I'm going to speak up. That's what's going to make us have that underlying, self-assuredness. It's easy. What we are used to doing is kind of forcing it on the surface while running on empty underneath, because we're in this situation. If we correct that, doing the power pulling to the heart center is the first step. It's the quickest way of doing it, because we have this very, very strong energy field at the heart. That's really how we interact with the people around us. If we can strengthen that, then suddenly the whole system thinks, whoa, actually I am safe. And everything begins to knock into, can just drop into place the way it should.
So I'm curious, because I was quite surprised on Tuesday when you shared that it was from the heart chakra rather than the root chakra or the second chakra, the sacral chakra, because typically when I've learned about chakras, and it's not really something that I talk about very much, but I have studied them quite a lot, grounding our power is all about base chakra. It's like about physical, it's about security.
I'm not talking chakras. I'm not talking chakras. I'm talking energy field.
Oh, so tell me.
So that's probably
okay. So
yeah, absolutely. So grounding our power is not the same as pulling your power back. So you can be grounded, but subconsciously you can be giving your power away on that I'm interacting with you level. You can be grounded when you do that.
Yeah, and this is all about genealogy and history. That's what I'm getting. It's the kind of like energetic, masculine, feminine energies from a long time, like history.
That's right. So when you look into the subconscious, and I spent 20 years analysing that, what's actually there, it's literally stuck. It's like an operating system from the past. So it's going to have the patterns that you've picked up from your childhood, and it's going to have what you've got from history, what you've collected from the group consciousness, and none of it's had time to catch up. Here's the thing, because we've had like millennia of women being disempowered, being deprived of choice and opportunity, and told you have to obey the male figure in your life, you have to stay at home, you're not allowed to earn more money, blah blah blah. That's been there for millennia, right? And then suddenly things change over the course of just like 2 generations, and all of that other stuff hasn't caught up. So we are the women on the cusp. We have the opportunity, we have the freedom for like the first time in history, but we don't have the right operating system. So the more we understand that and consciously update those hidden levels, the more that's going to give the right operating system to future generations. So hopefully younger women just growing up are not going to have the challenges that we've had, because we've been living with this mismatch, and that's what's caused all the problem. And we think, and why not, that our conscious lives, 3D lives, that, okay, I've got the vote, I've got the opportunity, but it should be fine. But it's not, because
No,
we've
it
got
definitely
this.
is. Yes, I get that. Yeah.
And it's all these layers of history. So if your subconscious is saying, am I safe in this situation? Am I entitled to be here, to speak up safely in this meeting, for example? It doesn't look at what's the law here and now. It looks as, well, what happened in the past? Oh no, powerful women get destroyed, and if I'm not allowed to have more authority than my partner, or I'm not allowed to outshine this male colleague, or actually my subconscious says I really should be serving the tea here, or taking the minutes. I shouldn't be chairing the meeting. We don't believe it consciously, but all those layers of what's come before is completely undermining us. So it's like, people say, you need to see a role model to aspire to that. That is only the tip of the iceberg, because if there isn't a woman there doing that, it's not, we don't see it as, I need to see the role model. The subconscious says, my God, that's forbidden. So it then says, if it's forbidden, you're in danger. Trigger that fight or flight, give the power away. That mismatch as you push forward with your career. And the mismatch is what creates the stress, the imposter syndrome, the lack of confidence, the holding back, or it can make you go into a real fight mode where your life is full of confrontation if you react the other way. But we shouldn't have to do either. We should be free to be ourselves and express ourselves and be powerful as women, not either silent or emulating male energy in order to get ahead. And it all comes down to this energy field, which is distinctly different from what you're talking about, grounding the chakras, which is a different.
So I get the difference now. And you know what? I can really hear what you're saying, which is that, so when I was feeling like, when I let my power leak out, as it were, when I was in my corporate career, and I thought I was confident in myself, but I wasn't. And I was, as I said, leaking my power out. Life was very much built around fighting. It was all about fighting and confrontation. And
exactly,
it's fair to say I'm not the least confronting person you'll ever meet in your life now. I am willing to say things that other people aren't willing to say. That's part of my philosophy. But it comes from a totally different place. It's not me trying to, it's not about the imbalance of the, it's not about the imbalance of the power. It's more about speaking straight. That's and
right,
so
that's
the experience of fight, it's not about fighting, which is how it was in the past.
Exactly. So you can think about it like this. If you're in that fight mode, it's because you are being forceful, but force is not the same as truly empowered. And women, we go one way or the other. Either we go into the fight mode, and most of the women who've really got to the top in corporate, in politics, they're doing that. And then there are women like me who are more sensitive, and I did the shutdown version, which turns into burnout and chronic fatigue, and we don't get as far because it undermines us in a very a more tangible way, and undermines our health and our well-being. But it's the same, it's the reaction to the same thing, this mismatch, the fact that all the subtle messages are saying, no, you can't do that, you can't be equal to the men, you can't shine, you can't be a leader. But consciously, we believe we can, and we are seizing our opportunity that women have never had before. So it's that mismatch, and learning to control what your energy field is doing when you're interacting with someone, and when your subconscious has triggered, oh my God, this is the hierarchy, I'm the bottom, I shouldn't even be here at all. It's learning to control that, so that doesn't undermine you without you realizing it. And if you crack that, then everything else falls into place, and you can be truly empowered, even if you're in a very aggressive environment or a very dismissive environment.
And so what is the key to cracking the code?
Oh, that's what I do.
Okay, see, that's that is why you want to reach out to to Anne Whitehouse, and that is why you want to join the Secret Sorceress Facebook group.
Absolutely, because that is what we are doing in there. But just doing the power pulling, if you look back to the earlier Facebook Live, and I tell you how to do that, that in itself is enough to take the edge off those moments when you feel your power leaking away. Now, if you feel anxiety, if you feel you can't speak up, if you feel you're being attacked, your power is leaking away. You're draining it. Do the power pulling, and you will shift that back to your advantage. That's the first step.
Thank you, Anne. So everybody that's watching, go and have a watch of the videos that we did over the last 2 weeks, and in particular the one from Tuesday where Anne gives us the detail of how to get our power back. And if you want more ways to connect with Anne, join the Secret Sorceress Facebook, her Secret Sorceress Facebook group. You'll see me in there. I'm in there too, and we will put a link in the comments to it below so you can join it there. In the meantime, and also you can buy her book on Amazon, which we've also put a link in from Tuesday's video, but we'll do that again today. So in the meantime, it's Friday, it's 11:45. Have a great weekend, everybody. Next week, I'm here with my friend Mylin, who will be she's live from Germany, and we're going to be talking about lots more spiritual, energetic, and woman interesting subjects for the next 2 weeks. So everybody have a good weekend. See you on Tuesday. Bye. Thanks, Anne, for being with us.